Today I want to talk about why I sold my Blackmagic Pocket 6K G2 and my Sony FX30 for the Sony A7IV. I've been shooting with Blackmagic cameras for years. I've owned the 6K Pro, then I sold that, got the 6K G2, and those cameras by far have some of the best image quality of any camera I've ever used to date. And I love the image quality from the camera. So it has nothing to do with that, nothing to do with usability. For me, the reason I had to get rid of it is because I work in a church environment where there's a lot of low light situations and uncontrolled environments. And those cameras just don't do well in low light. It's just how they're made. They're cinema cameras, they're light hungry. Even with low light lenses, it struggled. In addition to that, they also cost a lot over time. You have to rig them out. You have to own CFast cards if you want to shoot high codecs and 6K resolution, RAW, things like that. You also have to have a lot of storage. So if you're shooting those things, you can go through a terabyte in a couple hours if you're shooting constantly. It costs more than it's worth, but also I felt like I was being held back by that camera. I felt like I couldn't just pick it up and just go shoot more than 30-minute period without having to rig it out. Sony cameras I've owned for a very long time, and what I love about the Sony cameras is they still have amazing image quality. The Sony A7IV, I feel I can keep up with the best of them. I've owned that camera in the past, sold it, got the FX30, kept that for a while. Great camera, but sold that because I wanted to go back to full frame. And the Sony A7IV is great in low light. Great autofocus still, which I'm not obsessed with autofocus. I'm perfectly capable and love filming manual focus. Matter of fact, it's probably my favorite way of shooting, but it's nice to have that option in fast-paced environments when you need to track something, or if you're on a gimbal and you want to track and you don't have a focus puller, having autofocus is nice. I don't rely on it. It's not my oh, I have to get a camera because autofocus, but it is great. But ultimately, the reason I made the decision to do that is I felt held back in general. Like I had to carry around a bunch of lenses and I had to rig out the camera and I had all primed, so I'd have a telephoto to get close-ups of people and wides and so on and so forth. I was carrying too much gear, so I really wanted to just minimize the gear that I owned and not feel like I was held back by having too many things. I'm very grateful that I had those cameras, but I also felt like I was spoiled, like having multiple cameras when really I just need one camera that I could pick up, shoot creatively with, that still has amazing image quality. So if you're in that same situation, you feel like your gear's holding you back, then maybe there's some things you need to let go of. So don't get sucked into the hype that you need every camera and you need the FX3 and the FX6 and the Blackmagic Pixis camera. If you're shooting YouTube content or you're shooting freelance, you can still have a minimal setup and just have beautiful images coming from that. With that being said, if you made it this far, comment below if you have any struggles with gear or there's any problems or you feel like gear has held you back. Let me know, but more importantly, put in the comments, thank God he's done talking. I appreciate you guys watching.